Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you all are doing well. This is Mohammad Badruddin back again with lab number 2 from prototype pollution vulnerability module. So today we are going to solve lab number 2 and the lab is saying DOM XSS via client side prototype pollution. This is very much similar as the previous lab, but there is a little bit difference. So the description of this lab is saying this lab is vulnerable to DOM XSS via client-side prototype pollution, and to solve the lab we need to find the source. Okay, and with this source we can add the or inject the arbitrary property to the global object.prototype. Second, we need to identify the gadget property that allows you to execute the arbitrary JavaScript, and then we need to pop up the alert. So you can solve this lab manually in your browser, or you can use DOM Invader, which automates the process for searching the source and gadget, and it will even exploit the vulnerability. So we will do it with the DOM Invader, and then we will go with the manual exploit. Okay, so this is our Burp Suite, and I'm just going to open the Burp browser. If you have difficulty in opening the Burp browser, like you found this kind of error, so you can easily go to the proxy settings, and within the proxy setting go to the Burp browser and just check this, allow Burp browser to run without a sandbox. Okay, and it will fix the problem. So click on open browser one more time. Okay, so this is our browser. Second thing, if you see this extension plugin manager, just click on this icon and click on Burp Suite to make sure DOM Invader is on, and in the attack types prototype pollution is on, which is already on. If it's not on, you just need to click this button, and then you need to update the canary and then reload it, okay, or refresh it. Fine, so let's see, I'm just going to copy the URL of the lab and paste it here. Okay, let it refresh, and till then we are going to open the dev tools of the browser. Okay, fine. And now here you can see you can find the DOM Invader here. Okay, so if I click on DOM Invader, you can see up to now it does not search anything about the source and sink, both are 0. So you just need to refresh the page, and once you refresh the page, you can see now it has something for you. So it found 2 sources. So in the URL section, you can actually inject a property like this. Okay, so if you want to test this, you can just go and click on test. It will open new browser, and you can see within the URL it put one query string, and with the parameter __ proto _ and a property which is test property, and its value is DOM Invader PPPOC. Fine, now we need to find out the gadget. So inspect again. Okay, go to the DOM Invader, and what we can do, go back to this previous tab and scan for the gadget. Click on this button, it will open one more tab, and here it will scan for the prototype pollution gadget. Open the inspect section again and go to the DOM Invader, and here you can see it found the sink here, and within the sink it tried to run the script. Okay, so if you want to exploit it, you can just click on exploit. You can see it inject again, the pop-up alert is popped up, but the thing important here is this one. Query string is same, the property it inject is transport _ URL. So from where it brings this particular thing, transport _ URL, and then it inject with data, inject the alert. Okay, so if I just try to take this one, copy back to our Burp Suite and go to the decoder, let's try to decode it to see what exactly it's injecting. So data, and with data it's injecting the alert. Fine, but from where it brings the transport URL, this is a question. So a lot of time when you automate something or automate a process, a lot of things behind the scene you actually skip or you don't know. Okay, so we already solved the lab, but we will solve this lab by manual approach. So I'm just going to cancel all of this. We don't need that. Back to our Mozilla Firefox. Okay. So now let's go to the proxy, and I'm going to enable the proxy on my browser. Okay, back to the lab. Let's just search anything, whatever we want. Let's say cyber, or we can do one more thing. I'm just going to right click and clear all the history from here. So now what we will have is only the HTTP traffic from this browser. So cybersec radar, and let's search it. So you can see we search this, and anything else? Nothing. Let's go to my account and home. We are looking for a file that is named as search. So whatever we write in the search, it actually executed by that particular script, and I'm looking for that, but it's not appearing here up to now. Okay, no problem. What I can try is going to inspect. First of all, let's just test the source. Okay, so here I'm going to inject, let's say /?, and search is equal to cybersec radar. This we already did it, but this time I'm going to inject proto __ and a property which is color is equal to red or whatever. Hit enter, go to the console, and here we will see whether it's injected successfully or not. So Object.prototype. Okay, and you can see it's injected successfully, but we need to exploit this thing. So that means the source is working perfectly, and this is the exact source which we can use to exploit the vulnerability and to run the arbitrary code or arbitrary script. Fine, by adding the property in an object. Let's go. I'm going to the network tab because I did not find search logger, but here you can see we find the search logger. This is the file we saw in the previous lab also. So whatever the search term you search, it actually log that somewhere in the application. This is the code of search logger.js. The similar code you see in the previous lab, but this one is a little bit different. If you see already watched the previous lab, you will see here it's actually defining an object which is config that contains one key which is param. Okay, and this param is basically used dparam, and it takes the search parameter and stringify it. So what it basically do, if you say color is equal to red, so it will do something like this. Something like this, color red, something like this. So it will change the search term in that way. So basically, if you see the previous lab script, here the config object has two keys. One is param and the another one is transport underscore URL. Okay, so this was the previous lab script, and it contains two key, param and transport URL, and then it defines one object.define property, and this object.define property basically set the transport URL to not configurable and not writable. This was the thing. But here what it does, so it has the config object, that's okay, but it does not have the transport underscore URL as the property defined for the config object, because the property is not defined here. Also, because the transport URL is not explicitly defined here as non-configurable and non-writable. So this is gonna be our gadget. What gadget? Gadget is transport underscore URL. So we can control this, and this basically append the script to the DOM. Fine. So document.create element with the script. Okay, let's see. This is all what I need to tell you. So there is a difference between this script and the previous lab script what we saw. So this is the previous lab script. Here you can see the config object has two keys, param and transport URL. Here you have only one key, and it also not defining the object.define property, where the property of the config object transport underscore URL is explicitly defined as not configurable and not non-writable and non-configurable. But here there is nothing like that. So we can directly inject transport underscore URL, right? So instead of that, I'm gonna write transport underscore URL, and we can say here data colon comma, and alert is gonna be 1. So that should work. And yeah, the alert is popped up here as 1, and we solved the lab. Fine. Let's try something else. If I just try anything else, let's say value is equal to data colon comma alert 1. Let's see that works or not. Okay, alert does not popped up. So here what we need is we need to actually poison or add the transport URL property, and within this we can call the alert function. Okay, so that was the thing. I hope you enjoy the lab. TRANS. Okay, so we missed something here. Okay, so you can see the alert is popped up. So that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed the lab, and if you like the content, please like, subscribe and share as much as you can. I'm gonna see you in the next video. Bye bye.